I'm Saskia, the assistant editor of Voice Mag, and I am joined by author/writer Courttia Newland. Hi, Courttia.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
Good. I'm all right. Very good.
Good. Well, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me and inviting me to this.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
So my first question for you then is, can you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your creative background?
I'm Courttia Newland. I'm an author, first and foremost. I'm a novelist. I have written 9 books to date. I started in 1997, right up until now. I also write screenplays. I'm best known, I suppose, I'm best known for Small Acts, co-writing Small Acts with Steve McQueen. I wrote Lovers Rock, highly controversial, I know, and also and Red, White and Blue. And I am a playwright as well. I've written 8 or 9 plays. I also write short stories. So I've got a short story collection right now, a sci-fi short story collection, but I write like lots of different short stories. And I also did obviously the short story in Cuckoo Cage. After that is this.
Yeah, definitely an impressive portfolio you've got there.
Thank you.
So I know you've listed some of the amazing things that you've worked on, but what is the something in your past for career-wise that you really hold on to and that you really are excited to have done?
I'm excited about the plays I wrote. I really still get excited about the plays I wrote. I think they were particularly groundbreaking at their time. They're really hard to get hold of, I think there wasn't any kind of video footage of them. I think 2 have been published, but I did 8 or 9 plays, and I'm really, really pleased about those and the work that I was doing. So I worked with one company in over 8 or 9 years, and we did a play a year for that period of time, So I'm really proud of that. I really honed my writing skills doing that with a director called Riggs O'Hara in the Post Office Theatre Company. That's some of the work I'm most proud of. And I'm really pleased with my latest books. I'm pleased with my first books, but I'm really pleased with the books I've got out now. I'm really happy with those. Of course, Small Acts. I'm really, really over the moon about what we managed to achieve with those shows, those films.
Absolutely. So how did you actually get into writing?
I always wrote. I wrote from a very young age. I wrote from 11 or 12, but I always tell this story. So sorry, you hear it over and over again, but because you asked me, I didn't want to be a writer. I actually wanted to be an MC, which is why I brought up all of those, those rapper influences. I'm really heavily influenced by hip hop, and I really wanted to be an MC at that time. So that's what I wanted to do. And I kind of hid my writing from people, my book writing. I did that at the same time as MCing. And my English teacher said that I would be a novelist when I grew up, and I got really upset with her because I just wanted to be an MC. I was like, how do you say that to me? I didn't see how you can mix the 2 things. But then I kept writing. I kept writing throughout my teenage years, and then I tried to write a novel when I was 19. Didn't really work out. It's going to be a kind of Windrush saga novel. It's going to go from Windrush days, follow one family right to the 90s, and that didn't really work out. So after that, I was just like, why did that not work out? And I was figuring, the main reason was because I read a novel called The Lonely Londoners by Sam Selvon. And when I read that novel, I was just like, it's been done. What I'm trying to do has already been done. It wasn't like a saga, but how can I do it better than Sam Selvon? He just killed it. So I was like, what could I do? And then I had the idea, because I'm from West London, and Lonely London is set in West London. I was like, I can do just the end of that saga. I can do the present day as it was then, what's going on for 90s Caribbean kids in West London, what it feels like, the language and the slang. I'll just do my version set now. And that's when I wrote The Scholar, basically. So that was kind of the start of my career, but I'd always been writing before that.
Okay, so from the start of your career to now, obviously you've participated in the Cuckoo Cage, which is origin stories. It's got it's part of the superhero genre, and there's some really great writers in this book. How did you get involved with it?
I've been working with Rob Page for a while now. he asked me to be a patron of Comma, which at the time I wasn't really sure what that means or anything, but I was just like, I like Comma Press, I'm really into short stories, they've asked me to do this thing, you know, I'm really happy about it. I like the working class kind of slant of Comma Press, you know, the fact that they're usually talking about that strata of people, and so of course, of which I'm included in. And so I was like, jumped at the chance. And then Ra started just asking me to write stories, you know, for the press, and I wrote one for the protest anthology, which is stories based on different protests that would happen throughout British history. And so I wrote a story about the poll tax riots. And it was the same process, you know, we worked with an academic, I worked with a man called John Drury, and I worked with him, and then he basically did my research, you know, and then I just went away and I just put a story together, and it was a really great experience. So when he asked me about this, I was like, yes, definitely. I do not have time to do this, but I will do this. I want to do It's really exciting.
How do you think the superhero genre can act as a tool for empowerment?
I think that superhero stories have always meant to be a tool for empowerment, but I think they were more like a moral judgment, you know. You know, with the Batmans and the Superman, it was always about like morality in that sense. And I don't know. I mean, I think that was probably always a little bit flaky at the time, you know what I mean? But in terms of society and stuff, everyone accepted it, you know what I mean? Like a hero has got to fight for truth, justice, in the American way, and all that kind of thing. But obviously, and at the time, some people must have been like, the American way or whatever, you know what I mean, at that time. But people weren't as vocal about it. But now it just seems to not sit quite right, you know what I mean? I struggle with a hero like Superman. I think that's been the case for many years for a lot of people. It's like, how does Superman fit in contemporary society when we're basically so cynical nowadays? You know what I mean? Like we don't believe in that kind of like straight down the line moral justice.
So what more do you think needs to be done, like when it comes to Black British representation in storytelling, but also in society in general? I know it's quite a big question, but
yeah, it's a huge question.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be no barriers, either within, you know, the minds of the writers themselves or from publishers and people who can make it happen. Publishers, the industry as a whole, you know, like agents and whatever. Like just we need to have the ability to tell whatever stories we want. And I think things have changed a lot since, you know, 1997 when I wrote The Scholar, you know, and since, you know, I tried to get A River Called Time published and couldn't get it published, you know, things have changed a hell of a lot, but I still think there are more areas that we need to be able to go in, you know, and that would really help in terms of people just understanding our range, you know. I think we have that range, but also we need to push the boundaries a little bit and take risks, you know, and be prepared to work on books that might be harder to get out than what the industry expects of us as well. So it's not gonna that barrier is not gonna fall by itself. We're gonna have to push at it a bit.
Yeah, and I definitely think the Cuckoo Cage is like the start of that, or adding to that, definitely, because the concept and some of the stories like in the book are just brilliant. So yeah, yours included. So I'm really excited to just like see more people, you know, like starting to read it and get those reviews out, and I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm just going to read this little tiny bit, and so I suppose I have to set the scene because this is in the middle of the story. This woman has a power, which means she can jump through portals in time and space, and so she can be in Bristol. She creates a portal, she steps into it, and she appears in London, and she's been using this power to get rid of slaver statues. So she's been going around the whole country getting rid of slaver statues. Some people have kind of realized that's what she's doing, and they like groups of people appear to stop her and try and fight her and stop her from doing this, and she kind of deals with them. And this is just kind of like a summary of what she's doing. I think it's the first time in the story that she talks about in any real detail what she's doing. But I really like it because it just tells you the enormity of the issue with slaver statues in Britain. And these are all real statues in real places. I managed to find a map when I was doing the research of all the slaver statues there are in the UK, and it was hundreds. Like, please just like tell us if there's more and we'll put them on the map. And I was going around the map of England, just seeing these statues and putting it into my story. So might read like a bit of an info dump, but I think at this point in the story, it's okay, because you're unsure about what's going on.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm not a woman, but I'm not going to try putting a voice or anything, but I'm going to read my own voice. Okay. I spend the remainder of my night or morning, whichever way you choose to see it, performing my task. The locations I travel to span the length and width of the country. Once I even crossed the channel to portal of John Nicholson likeness on behalf of my Indian brothers and sisters in Armagh. In Grosvenor Road, Chester, the equestrian statue of Viscount Comberbar, owner of 420 enslaved Africans. In City Hall, Cardiff, and St. Paul's Cathedral, London, Thomas Picton, renowned torturer, slave owner, and governor of Trinidad. The bust-sized monument of Sir Edward Winter, owner of several 18th century Jamaican plantations adorning Battersea Church, South London. And then the infamous Rhodes at Oriel College, Oxford, several of Robert Peel, whose family wealth derived from slavery and made him the man he became, much like my mother's toughness made me, in Leeds, Bradford, Tamworth. Statues of Lord Nelson, protester against the abolishment of slavery, and close friend of Simon Taylor, owner of more than 2,000 enslaved Africans in Great Yarmouth, Norwich, the Isle of Anglesey, and Deptford Town Hall. Francis Drake, Robert Blake, Clive of India, H.M. Stanley. Prime Minister William Gladstone, whose father John received the largest compensation payout for lost slaves in the UK. So many names, so many men, such a task. I've heard people say it's up to local communities to debate what statues should come down and which should remain. I'm not really one for long talks, so I make portals expand, push statues in, and collapse them again until my eyes are dazzled, my chest seizes, and I find it difficult to breathe. Beneath the imposing height of Beckford Tower, Bath, I lean against chilled stone. My chest wheezes, leaves whisper around me. The quiet of the cemetery behind me is mute fog. It's too much. No way I can portal them all. The task would take years and possibly harm me. My head lifts, it aches. At the tower base, there's a sign. It says William Beckford and his family inherited wealth from Jamaican plantations, and yet the tower, raised by Beckford himself, has been turned into a museum with the intention that his connections to slavery might be fully explored. I stand. My breath returns. The tower will stay. I open a portal and enter.
Wow, so good. Sorry. Thank you. It really does hit different, like listening to it like that, and just all of the names and all of the statues, and that's not even like scratching the surface.
That was a really small portion.
Yeah.
Of it. Yeah. It's just about and the point of that part of the story is saying that, okay, she's getting rid of all these statues, but the ones that she keeps, the ones that she wants to stay, are the ones that actually do acknowledge the history. And once you acknowledge the history and everything, then it's okay. They can stay. You know what I mean? It's not like I actually think the statues should be left up. It's just like when they talk about taking sections of books out or rewriting books because they're racist. I think keep the books, keep the racism, but let's have a discussion and put them in some kind of context, and then we can say this is what happened and this is why it's not right. Don't erase it.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me today. I've actually really enjoyed it, and I hope I get to interview you again sometime soon.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, let's stay in contact. I have a couple of books coming out, but I'll send you some information about those.
Yeah, drop me an email anytime.
Cool, brilliant. All right.
Okay, great. Thanks so much, and take care.
Bye.
Bye.